Welcome to the Minorities Report. My name is Antonio Alcazar.
And I'm Texas Noir.
And we're doing a very special Halloween episode again.
We're back at you with Halloween.
It's getting very close to Halloween now, huh?
It's getting pretty close, brother.
Yeah. Hope you've been enjoying everything that we've been putting out this month.
We got a bunch more coming at you.
Yeah, for sure. But let's get into...
You joined us for, what did we do 2 weeks ago? I even forgot. No,
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2, and then we did Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, but you would have had to be a Patreon to listen to our Halloween special. So
I hope you guys are Patreoning us, because there have been quite a few movies at this point.
Halloween was quite the thing.
Yeah, and then Dune, too.
Dune is...
and Lamb. Jesus.
Well, those ones are coming yet, though. So those are later this month.
Yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, this comes out on the 27th.
Maybe this will be an edit.
Yeah, let's get into it. Today we did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974.
Not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There's a difference?
Yeah.
Okay. There are different ones called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So 1974, bro.
74, dude.
This is probably
I saw the 40th
oldest movie we did.
What was Halloween? 79?
Yeah, way later, 78. The only movie that might have been earlier than this is
Freddy Krueger?
No, definitely not that. What was that? Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now was 79.
Wow.
Full Metal Jacket?
No, that's 80s. Wow,
it was
man.
87.
This is
the oldest movie we've done so far.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The Thing?
Thing is 80s.
Wow. Yeah.
No, man. This is the oldest.
You know, it felt it.
Of course it did.
It felt it.
Of course it did, bro. This is definitely different. I want to point that out right now. This is Toby Hooper, bro. Toby Hooper. What do you know about Toby Hooper?
I don't know shit about Toby Hooper. I've
not.
never even heard those sounds in sequence. I've never heard before.
I want to, before we get into this.
Toby
Hooper.
Toby Hooper. Jesus, that sounds like an old name.
Can you take a guess?
Yeah.
Take a guess.
Yeah.
What the budget of this film was?
Let me see what I got in my fucking wallet. I have $30. It was $30.
Pretty close.
What was it? Tell me it was under $1 million.
300 grand.
Even that blows my mind. 300 grand.
Oh no, man.
I feel
Think
like
about it because, like,
listen,
okay,
I could do this movie today.
Yes.
With zero money.
Yes, but that's completely no. You would need a little bit of money, but like, because you need a place to, like, you'd have to rent a place where you can film it.
No, I would literally go
You'd
out to the country
costumes.
and I would ask somebody, "Hey, I'm just gonna do something."
You
real
would have
quick
to make
here.
the costumes.
I'll be here for a day.
The costumes,
and I'll just buy you dinner, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that's fine."
That's how much is the dinner?
Costumes? Okay, the costumes might cost me $50.
And I mean, like, so like everything goes into it. So let's say the costumes cost you like $1,000.
I don't think it'll cost me $1,000.
I think so.
Those costumes.
But nonetheless,
they are the cheapest wigs. The leather face thing I could find in a million different places.
Now you could.
Okay.
Not to 1974. And think about this too. I know, like, we're making jest, but
$300,000.
You could film.
Somebody pocketed $280,000.
No, you could film. You could film something like this with your phone now.
Yes,
but not in 1974.
Sure.
1974, the cameras were shit.
Camera rentals.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right, that off the bat.
That's $280,000.
Probably $243,000. And then you got.
I'd love to be able to see breakdowns of budgets.
I'm not going to tell you how much money this movie made until the end of the movie, but just keep that in mind. $300,000.
Okay, sounds good.
So here we go with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What a fucking...
In the summer of 1973. I like that. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah,
you know why I like that?
Why?
It gave me... So here's two things I'm going to say.
Okay.
One, it gave me Blair Witch vibes.
Cool.
And I love Blair Witch.
Cool. But this is the original Blair Witch.
So two, right? This is the original a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Like, when I was watching this, I'm just like, oh, everybody copied
Everything.
these guys. Like, I was astounded by how many, like, cues of horror I saw in this.
Yep.
And I was just like, everybody copied you.
Yes.
That was impressive to me.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love this intro because, like I said, this is the original Blair Witch.
Yeah.
They were the first people that were like, this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
We're going to now tell you the
It wasn't, though, right?
It was not even close to based on a true story. Right. Sure. Toby Hooper played all that shit up.
Yeah,
we'll get to the behind the scenes and all that stuff.
Dude, let me fucking standing ovation that shit. Because can you imagine being the first dude who was just like, I'm just gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say this shit.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
Exactly. And they just kind of give a history of like there's been a bunch of grave robbings in Texas.
Yeah,
and
there's like some really like, gross shit happening in
there's
Texas.
A bunch of like even like to me, even like the photographs going off and they
the sound.
Like, oh fuck.
Even
dude.
the sound. I was just like, dude, these people started this?
Disturbing, bro. Like this intro to me is like is now it's hard now obviously I've seen everything but in 1974 I feel like if I was in the theater watching this live I'd be kind of
disturbed. You'd already be crying.
I'd be disturbed. Definitely. I'd be like
you'd be like maybe I leave before this really ramps up.
Absolutely right. I'm about to watch a snuff film. Like someone's literally getting killed in this fucking movie. So
like literally you've never seen a horror movie where they're just like this shit actually happened.
Right.
And then like that intro starts, I'd be like, oh,
this is a documentary.
I don't want to do this.
Right. Exactly. You're about to watch a documentary.
I have 1974 sensibilities.
Yes.
I just watched Donny Osmond's show.
Yes.
No, dude, I'm going to puke.
I like Leave It to Beavers on at home. You know, like fucking, you know, all that shit, dude. Like, wow, man, what a fucking way to jump into a film, dude. Yeah. And then it jumps over to like a cemetery, which is just like this fucked up corpse looking thing, which is, can you imagine like everything
real about slimy looking corpse.
Dude, I'm going to say this right now. Everything about this movie is like gross with sweat, bro. Like everything is just like disgusting with sweat.
It has a gritty feel to it. That I feel like became camp. Where did we see this before? I think Terminator, I think.
Sure.
When I watched Terminator in our first episode, when we watched Terminator, I remember saying it's funny how they were taking this seriously, and this was just the evolution of cinema, the evolution of action, and then this became camp.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what this is.
Yeah.
Like they were taking it super seriously, and then the greediness and the screaming and the running and all that became camp.
Yeah.
But this was like its first iteration where somebody was just like, I'm going to make a movie that is going to be deeply chilling because it's going to portray people getting chased around in a way that is very serious.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously how things evolve. It just, they jump the shark at some point.
Like, it's important to point out too, like, well, let's get to it later because I want to like point out like some other shit as we get a little bit deeper in. And so we see a dead animal. To me, easily the saddest death of the film. Man, I was feeling bad for that armadillo.
The little armadillo.
Like, I was like,
just
God
chilling.
Damn, man, he just got ran over, man.
I thought to myself, did they paint blood on this or did they just find a bloody armadillo?
They probably found a bloody armadillo. Knowing Toby Cooper, probably that. Or they probably
know Toby Cooper.
They probably
Do you chill with him.
Toby Hooper
is he going to be in our hotel room in Gen Con next year?
Yes. Toby Hooper probably killed that animal.
Oh, that's fucked up, dude. That's fucked up.
So we jump in with some travelers that are going through Texas.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of, you know, doing their thing, doing their, what is it called? Hippie thing, like kind of traveling around in a van and whatnot.
They have the stupidest fucking plan.
Yes.
They're looking for one of the characters' old dad's place.
Yes.
That they grew up in.
Yes.
It's abandoned.
Yes.
They're just going out there.
Yep. They're just going to go check that thing out.
Reason.
Right.
Like they were at home and they were just like, hey, we got like an old abandoned house. You want to check it out? And they were like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Sounds excellent, dude. Why wouldn't we?
That's,
Me and you would do that.
I feel like that is like super indicative of how boring life must have been back then, dude. I would rather do a billion things these days than go check out an abandoned house. Think about it.
I'm trying to think about myself in like the 80s. Like as a younger person.
In the 80s. Oh, as a young person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably want to go check.
I mean, they're like in their 20s, bro. In their 20s, I'm not going.
I'd say like late, like 19 to 24. Like I would say the upper age is 24, lower age is 19. Okay, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, at 19 or 24, I'm not going to an abandoned house. Out in the middle of the countryside just to see it.
I'm not going. I would not go to any place in Texas that wasn't like deep city. Like Houston, Dallas, 74, San Antonio.
Yeah, for sure. Like, also as minorities, you know.
Oh, like even worse, colors. Right? Yeah. Actually, you'd probably be better off in Texas than I would.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, I'm not going to anywhere in Texas.
That,
yeah. Like,
I bet you Texas is actually a fine place to be a Hispanic.
For Mexicans? Yeah, I would agree completely.
Because that would just be like, oh, I'm Latinos for Trump, dude. And then they'd be like, oh, okay, he's one of the good ones.
Yeah, he's one of us. Yeah. And then you'd be like, you'd give him that Tyler face.
Yeah, bro.
So they hear about the graveyard thing, so they go to check out the graveyards and everything like that. And as they're driving around doing their thing, they drive by a slaughterhouse that just fucking stinks. Yeah. And of course, there's a hitchhiker near this slaughterhouse, and they're like, "Yeah, let's just pick this guy up." You know, because 1974.
Yeah, they're hippies in the 70s, right. So like, yeah, we'll help him out.
Yeah, absolutely. So they pick up this guy, and he's going on and on about people, that new.
Now this guy, when they pick him up, is clearly neurodivergent. Like this guy is not mentally healthy.
Yes,
and they are very adverse to that.
Yes,
they're obviously
put off by it. Yes.
And
they treat him like he's a hick, like he's like hickish, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I feel like that's very indicative of this time's awareness of mental health issues.
Absolutely,
because like, and we've got friends that are just like, oh, they've got a mental health issue for everything now, and I'm like, yeah, that's because back in the day they would ignore those people or make fun of them.
You'd become a street drifter,
or they'd just be like, oh, that person's just sad all the time, and then he kills himself. Like they just they weren't aware of it, they didn't care about it, and they oftentimes poked fun of it. And in this situation, this person was clearly had a mental health situation going on, and they were
just one of the many messages from Toby Hooper in this film.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so that's like, I just wanted to make sure that we touched on that at the beginning, because I feel like that's going to come up a lot.
Yeah.
How there's a very clear, consistent theme around like neurodivergent, like people here.
I would agree completely. And so this guy goes on and on about how technology is taking away jobs, which made me laugh out loud, because I'm like, this is just the complaint throughout history.
Yeah,
like,
forever.
Like in ancient Egypt, the slaves were probably like, you see, they have this wheel?
Oh, no. You didn't hear about like Plato and like Aristotle that time? They complained about writing things down, because they're just like, what is the point of memory? Your brain's going to go to mush if you don't have to remember all this stuff. You just write it down, then your brain's going to go to mush, which is hysterical to me.
Right.
That people are just like, oh, people are on their
like,
phones
I don't
now.
remember anything that's not written down now.
Dude, people used to get pissed at newspapers when newspapers got big, because there's like, oh, people are just in their fucking newspapers all day long. Dude, shut the fuck up.
Agreed. Like, put yourself in a time capsule and just live there.
Go anywhere.
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
Like, wow,
it's just people who hate fucking seeing anything different. Yeah. They're just like, well, it's not what I did, so fuck you.
Yeah. So then this guy, he's just talking about things, and as the handicapped guy's playing with a knife, and so he grabs I don't even know the hitchhiker. I think he's only just called the hitchhiker through this movie. I don't even know if he gets a name later. But hitchhiker grabs the knife from him, and he's playing with it and slices his own hand. And they're like,
really gross, man. Fuck? Honestly, like I'm gonna give something to this movie real off the bat.
Yep.
So much of this movie genuinely made me uncomfortable.
Yes, disgusting.
Like the way that it was shot in this van, like how everybody was like super uncomfortable,
right?
And just the close up of this guy's face, and a lot of like the way he cut himself. That blood looked real as shit.
Well, and here's the thing, dude. Like
they got the color of that blood.
They had no money
for that fucking era.
Wait until I get to the behind the scenes of this movie.
Yeah, I can't wait. Because like honestly, I was like, this is a bad situation. Like, at what point do you pull the car over and be like, buddy, like, I hate to break it to you, but you're making everybody uncomfortable. It's just,
you're fucking done.
Yeah,
get the fuck out.
Like, I really, here's the $2, or whatever. But like, this is unsafe. But like, I wanted somebody to say that. That's how uncomfortable I was watching this. Yeah. I couldn't just passively watch it happen. I was just like, please, somebody tell him to get out of the fucking van.
No, man, that's hippies, man. They're too nice.
Well, also, that's like a testament to how genuinely well filmed this was at the beginning. Like we'll continue forward, but like, I have to say that this movie was shot in a way that deeply unsettled me.
I hear you, man. So then he pulls out his own knife, and he's like, here, let me show you my knife or whatever. And it's like,
as soon as he pulled the knife out, I was just like, oh my God, more peak anxiety. Like nonstop, dude.
It's a straight razor, too. Sure. So it's a fucking, and it's a long straight razor. He's going to
cut somebody.
Yeah.
And then he cuts somebody.
Well, he starts a fire first. He starts like that little explosion with his, with that guy's pictures with Franklin. I think,
so he takes a picture of Franklin.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, it'll be $2.
Yep.
And they're just like, oh no, but like, you can have this back. And then he like unceremoniously takes the picture out, puts like gunpowder on
Yes.
it, and lights it on fire, and everybody freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
They're just like, let's be done.
And
with this.
everyone's freaking out, he cuts Franklin on his arm.
Dude, yeah.
And they toss his ass out finally. But he kind of like lets himself get tossed out too at the same time, which is kind of weird, but whatever.
Marks the
and he's
van.
Marks the van, and he's gone. Right. So they head over to a gas station, and as they're at the gas station, they're like, "Hey, I need some gas." Blah blah blah. And then there's another clearly handicapped dude there that's like working on their car for him. And the dude's like, "Hey, where are you going or whatnot? We don't have any gas right now. It's coming later today." Which is, man, what a fucking time, right? When you didn't have gas.
Out of gasoline.
Yes.
Okay.
70s, man, gas shortage. There was a gas shortage in the 70s.
I don't know shit about any of this.
Of course, we've never had to deal with any of that shit.
I mean, we're getting close now.
We couldn't get motherfuckers to put on masks for longer than a month. So, anyways, the guy's like, "Hey, where are you guys going?" And they explain their plan about going to this.
They're
this
just like,
burnt
"Hey,
down house.
have you seen this house on this trail?" And
Yeah. I know that house.
I think I've seen a house over there. And it's just like, why are you going out there? And like, oh, that's my daddy's house. And
He's like, "You probably shouldn't be going out there. Why don't you guys just stay here?
Just stay here and chill. What are you gonna go some house for? You know?
don't. He's like,
but like also fair.
Well, yeah. He's like,
what are you doing?
So here's funny thing. I've seen this movie clearly, right? Multiple times.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that this guy was part of the family. And when he's like, just, you guys, don't go that way. Stay here. I'll make you some dinner or whatnot. And then you can wait for the gas and then you can get out of here from here or whatever. Like, I was like, oh, fuck, does this guy know about them and he's warning the kids? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, right now, in retrospect, don't understand that.
Yeah.
Was he just going to tie them all up while they were in there?
No, I'm unsure what they were like going for with that. If he was like going to try to get them out of there, not to fuck around or whatnot, because they've already like killed people and stuff like that. So they already have like food and everything.
Clearly, they're eating people in there.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't need food right now. So maybe they're just like, he doesn't want all these people there or whatever.
Maybe it's like too many.
Yeah, maybe that's
because later on he didn't make a big deal.
Right.
And also, did they lose one?
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Everyone's accounted for. I'll go through all of them.
Because I lost one for sure.
Sure. So basically, he's like, you don't want to go up there because there are people up, in houses that you go mess around, they might show you're not supposed to mess around there.
Yeah, for sure. They're not going to take too kindly to even messing around.
Right, exactly. So stay away from that property and shit. Sure. So it's very weird that he's like warning them away from that house because he knows that house is behind it. He is literally
straight up telling them, hey,
don't go by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
Yeah, mind your fucking business, get out of here. Go be kids.
Right, exactly. So
and they're just like, nah, we're going to go.
We're still going, yep. So they get ready, they head on out. And they get to the old house and they were looking for, and it is all fucked up.
Yep.
And everyone starts having a good time, except for Franklin, who is having the worst time possible.
I mean, literally, scene one, he rolls off his fucking his chair.
I'm going to say something controversial.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. Franklin is an asshole, dude. He, I get it. He's handicapped.
Yeah, I don't see
I feel for his handicap.
Yeah, but why do you say he's an asshole?
He's a complainer the entire time.
Like, he was having a shit time.
Yeah, he was just complaining.
Was fair.
You know what? If you're having a shit time and your friends are having a good time,
no.
Shut
his
the fuck
sister
up.
was like, hey, you got to come out with us. You're going to have a blast. It's going to be a fun time. Yeah. And then they all fucking leave him to his own goddamn devices. I'd be pissed too. I'd be like, do you not see that I'm in a fucking wheelchair? Like, why'd you even invite me? I thought it was super fair. Later, he was just like, why the fuck did you invite me?
Rewatching this movie, I was like, I can't wait to see this guy get fucking murdered again. Like, I fucking hate this asshole, dude. He's like, he stubs his toe and he's like, and he's just like, I don't know, I hate this fucking, this guy.
I didn't like any of these kids, but I thought it was fair that he was complaining.
Okay, that's reasonable. So they're there and they're like, all right, we got to keep going. We're gonna head home now, but we are fucked on gas. Hey, there's a house behind this house. I'm gonna head over there.
No, that's not what happened. What happened was they were hanging out and having fun.
Yeah.
And then Franklin was just like, "There's a creek you guys can fucking swim at."
Yeah.
And then so two of the guy, the first guy and the first girl, they were just like, "Hey, where's that creek? Because we're gonna go swim." And he's just like, it's down by there's a trail by the two cabins over there.
Okay.
And he's just like, okay, dope.
Oh yeah.
And then they go out and there's no fucking creek. Like it's dried up a million years ago. But while they're out there, they're like exploring the area and they see a house and they hear a generator.
Yes.
So he's just like, oh, that's gasoline. We might be able to buy some gas off of them and get the fuck out.
Yeah. Or we don't have that much money. I'll leave him my guitar. My guitar. And she's like, he's not gonna want your fucking guitar or whatever, right? And they're just like, well, let's go. We'll fucking get some gas. We'll worry worry about it later.
Yeah.
And the main guy is checking it out or whatever. He looks in the house. Then he hears like some like pig noises.
She goes and sits down.
Yeah.
And then he starts hearing like some
pig noises, right? And he's like, "What the fuck?" And he kind of just walks in the house.
Yeah.
And he walks back to like this fucking
weird room
and he's just looking around, and then boom, instant right in the fucking head, dude.
This movie got going.
Yeah.
Dude, Evil Dead 2 and this movie get going. Like going. It's the fucking beginning of the movie, and then it's just like, and death one. You know, like instant death.
Yes.
I was like, oh shit.
Fucking hammer to the head, laid out, shaking like crazy, another hammer to the head, and he's fucking done. Slam that door, and you only get like a couple seconds of Leatherface, but it's just like, what the fuck? Could you? Okay. Now, you know who Leatherface is. Just because you know who Freddy is and you know who Jason... in passing, you know who Leatherface is. Yeah. Could you imagine 1974 just seeing this fucking thing on screen being like, what the fuck was that?
That Jerry Seinfeld gif? Yeah. Where he is just like... And then he gets out of the chair and goes, that's me in the theater, you know? Like, I would just be like, oh, no, I'm not... I'm not a part of this.
I'm fucking done here. No. Shit, it's wild, man, for sure. And at this point... the girl's like calling out to him. I think his name's Jerry, and she's like, Jerry, Jerry, and she goes
and looks for Jerry.
She's looking all over the place. Yeah. She heads into the house too. Yep. Second person just to walk in this person's fucking house.
Well, I mean, fair though, because she was like 20 feet from him on the bench.
Yeah,
she saw him go inside.
That's true.
And then he just stopped making noise. So I'd be like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. I would walk in. Yeah. I'd be like, yo, we're like, what? You know?
Yeah.
Like. I'm assuming at this point that he found the person who lives there and then is having a conversation with him. And I'm not trying to be outside by myself.
That makes sense.
I'd walk inside. But then she like
goes into the living room.
Yeah.
And it's just
chicken
like,
bones and shit.
Bones everywhere. And just like
feathers.
Very weird scene to me.
Yeah, super
because
fucking weird.
She's looking at all this shit. The scene's at least 2 minutes of her just looking at everything.
It is a long scene.
Yes.
For sure.
And then she finally is like freaked out by it. And she's like, I'm fucking out of here. And she gets up.
Care. Now, again, fair. Because like, you're not just gonna, like, my friend's in here. You know, like, what if they've been dating for like 2 years? You know,
let me tell you something.
Like, listen. Your longtime friend, you go in there with, right? Like, forget like your girl, right? It's your longtime friend. You've been friends for years, and I mean, you find a bunch of chicken shit. Like, I wouldn't just leave. I'd be like, I should find my bud. You know, like my long time. Like, I've known this dude for forever. I'm not just gonna be like,
tell you something.
He's dead,
bro.
Now,
let me tell you something.
Let me qualify that.
Okay.
Leatherface comes out.
Yeah.
No, okay, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're probably dead and I'm not going to die, so I run. But until I see Leatherface, until I see an actual monster, I'm going to live with my friend.
Let me tell you something. When we go exploring.
We won't.
And I'm in a house.
You wouldn't do that.
Just leave me.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
We're white. We're not white. Yeah, we're not white, so we're not going to just walk into people's houses because that's how you get shot. Exactly. We're not going to do that.
First of all, that.
Right. But if I do happen to walk into the house, don't come in for me. Yeah. All right. Just go call whoever and try to get some help because I'm already fucked.
Yeah, like, dude, if you and I were in this situation, I wouldn't have left you until I saw Leatherface, and I'd be like, oh, I guess I'm doing this podcast alone then.
Maybe get Leatherface to guest star in my spot, bro.
Sure, yeah.
So, she's finally disgusted. She sees Leatherface kind of come, and then
and she books it.
She books it,
yeah,
but she ain't too fast because Leatherface grabs her ass up, pulls her in.
Hooks her onto the fucking thing.
Onto the meat hook, bro. Yeah. And she's just... I'm going to tell you something. Here's something a little unrealistic to me.
Yeah.
If I was put on a meat hook like that, I'd be a lot louder than that. Like, I'd be screaming.
She was pretty...
She screams on and off, too. And I thought it was just not enough. Like,
I'd be the shock, you know? Yeah. But then he grabs... This is where he finally grabs that chainsaw.
Yeah.
And just starts going at the fucking boyfriend. I was like...
Gotta cut him up, man. Gotta make that meat ready. And she's just screaming. This is why I tell everybody, go to the gym. Make sure you can do at least one pull-up.
Because you can go...
You gotta, if in case you have to do one pull-up, you can get out of that fucking situation. This is a perfect example. Like, cliffhanger is another example, man. You don't want to die because you can't do a single pull-up, bro.
Sure.
And they're like, okay, so... This woman is fucked. But yeah, getting put on that meat hook, Jesus, bro. Yeah. So we go over to
the other kids.
The other kids.
Yep.
And Hippie Boy.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, they never came back. I wonder if they got lost or whatever.
What's going on with this place?
Yeah.
I'm going to go check things out, right?
Yeah.
Heads out there, heads into the house.
Yep.
As usual.
Well, not
calling
immediately.
Out. Yes.
Like, he's calling out, gets to the house, then he finds the parka that they had.
Yes.
And he's just like, oh, shit, they're in here. Okay, well, let's go check it out.
Yep.
And walks inside.
Into the murder room.
Into the murder room.
There's blood everywhere.
Yeah, but, no bodies or whatever. Yeah. And he hears... And it's like, oh, I wonder what's inside these coolers. And it's his fucking chick friend.
Yep.
And then she wakes up.
She does.
Yeah, what's up with that? Then Leatherface comes out. Poof. And hits him with the hammer.
Hits him with a sledge this time.
Yeah, but this is where... Was he looking for him still?
So... This is a weird scene to me.
Yeah, because I thought that he was like, suddenly he's looking for him.
Yeah.
And he goes to the window and he's just like, oh, fuck, I lost him. And he's like, oh, kind of downtrodden.
Yeah.
And then you never hear from this guy ever again.
Yeah, he's never in it again.
So he escapes.
I don't know if you can escape after being hit in the head with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, but
I think he's just dead underneath the table, and they just can't find him because they're fucking idiots. But yeah, no, it's he's definitely dead. But yeah, there's no
he's 20 feet outside the house.
He's
in the brush.
like Stannis Baratheon dead. You have to assume he's dead.
You're just assuming. Yeah. Also, Stannis Baratheon's not dead.
Wait, what?
In the books.
No, right. But yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So Stannis, you're right.
Yeah.
Stannis isn't dead because there's nothing after this 5th season of Game of Thrones. We're still waiting for the 6th, 7th, and 8th season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Good point. No, but I'm talking about in the books. In the books, he's not dead.
No, he's doing Jon Snow's part right now. The part that they gave Jon Snow later, he's doing.
Yeah.
Because he's leading all the people and heading down to the Battle of the Bastards.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah,
I'm actually really excited to see if he is dead or not because there's so much just of course he's dead, and I'm like,
who?
Stannis, because he gets caught in the snow.
Yeah.
And people are just like, oh, this is how he dies.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not.
I think he's probably going to die here.
I hope not.
Because I think
Stannis is too important of a character, I think, to have an unceremonious
I think he's about as important as he was in the show.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So, anyways.
We'll review the book when it comes out.
Absolutely. We'll talk probably in 2022. Because the House of the Dragon is coming.
Well, sure, but
side note,
I'm just talking.
Edit all this out.
No.
But did you watch the trailer?
I'll edit this. Sure.
Yeah.
Did I watch the trailer? Yeah, I watched the trailer. Looks stupid as shit.
My dick got hard.
Oh, really?
I was so excited.
I when I watched it, I was just like, Game of Thrones has really been sullied for me now. Because even just the world I'm just like, meh.
Oh man, I was so happy.
I'm really hoping that the book reinvigorates.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I hope you get whatever you would like to get.
It's very altruistic of you.
That's how I like to live my life. So, all right. So he gets hit in the head with the sledgehammer. Who knows what happens to the body?
Yeah.
Probably Stannis Baratheon.
Yeah.
But back to Crybaby Franklin and Sally, the sister now at this point in time. And Franklin wants to go get help. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here. It's now dark.
Let's go to the gas station. Let's go call the cops. We got to do something.
We got to do something. Everybody's gone. They haven't come back. It's now dark.
Yeah.
It's clearly been hours and nobody's come back.
Dark, yeah.
Right. And I'm in a fucking wheelchair.
Yeah,
so what am I supposed to do out here? And
I go into the van.
Franklin?
And I close the door.
Yeah.
And then I just stay there.
Yes. And hide. If I'm Franklin, I'm going to give Franklin some credit here.
Yeah.
He's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Sally, her plan? Scream into the night.
Well, yeah, but they genuinely could be lost. None of them know the area. The only people who knew the area are those two people that are right there.
Okay.
Everybody else, they could be lost. They could be whatever. Maybe they fell down a ravine. Again, these are your friends. These are people you care about. These are people you wouldn't just be like, well, I guess they're
you're not going to scream.
Dude, 3 hours later, and you're just like, I guess they're dead, and you just drive off.
I'm not going to scream into the night.
Why not?
Maybe I'll
I like that you think that your first thought in real life would be like, oh, they probably got axe murdered by a person who's going to chase me.
Because I'm a fucked up person.
No, dude, I would just be like, they're fucking lost. We should go find them.
I would be like, okay, I'm going to get my gun, first of all.
And then obviously you take some smarter precautions.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going on any road trip without a gun, first of all.
Yeah.
If I'm going on a trip and it's driving trip, not a flying trip, and I'm not in someone else's car, I usually bring at least two
just in case.
Yes, of course. A rifle and a handgun. It's always. But because you never know what could happen. It could be the next war starts or zombies finally come. And then I have to get back to my house.
I'm just saying,
to get the rest of my
monster comes at you. The best thing in the world is that you have your guns on you.
Yes, of course.
Of
course.
That'd be great.
No, I agree completely. So At this point, Franklin looks and goes, "Oh shit, the keys are gone. We are really fucked here." And now Sally is screaming everyone's names. Franklin's just like trying to get her to shut up. Yep. They're fighting back and forth.
She wants the flashlight.
Franklin's like, "Wait a second.
Fine.
What is that noise?" And then they turn around with the flashlight. Leatherface is right there, guns the chainsaw, and kills the fuck out of Franklin.
No, that's not true. That's not how it happened. Sal's just like, I'm going to go find them with or without the flashlight.
Okay.
And then Franklin's just like, okay, fine. I'll just go with you. So they start going through the brush.
Yeah.
And as they're going through the brush, that's when Leatherface...
Right. Either way, that's what I'm saying. Is like and he's like, what's that noise? Which is hilarious.
But he's like right there.
Yes.
And just...
Chainsaw's right into
kills him. Yeah, for sure. Just ripping into him. That was... Yeah.
I clapped.
No,
I'm like, get that fuck out of here, man. We are done with Franklin. Dude.
Yeah, all right. Well, I don't know. I thought that was pretty morbid.
I literally have in my notes, thank God. Yeah. All right, so then Sally runs away. Right? Last girl situation.
We
create the last girl situation. Yeah. So she runs away and she gets back to that gas station.
This is probably first last girl?
I believe so.
Oh, boy.
So she gets back to that gas station, and she wants to call the police, but of course, it's the middle of Texas, in the middle of nowhere, so they don't have a phone.
She runs back to the gas station. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. No, she runs to the house.
Yeah.
Runs around the house, finds a bunch of dead bodies, finds the grandpa, who appears dead, and then she...
oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
He chases her up the fucking stairs. I was just like, oh, you're about to get got, and then she jumps out the window. Yeah. The reason that I bring that up is because her jumping out of the window, I'm just like, wow, this movie's well done. Like I had already thought a bunch of like positive things about this movie, but when she jumped out the window, I thought that was well shot and scary, and I felt it. And she just like panic jumps out that fucking window, and they don't like hold your hand through that jump. She just jumps out the fucking window. Yeah. Oh. She hits the ground, runs. That's when she runs to the gas station.
She runs to the gas station, and she gets no help there. And she's like,
"Yeah." So she's like,
He's like, "Hold on, I'll go get some stuff together, and then we'll drive to this other place."
We don't have a phone, but I'll get the truck.
Yep.
And then we'll drive out.
Yeah. We'll drive out to the place where I can call you. Yeah. He comes back in with a bag at this point,
and he's like a burlap sack. Yep. And some
he's like,
fucking
it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. And she's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Picks up this huge knife.
Yeah.
And he's like, just calm down, calm down. Grabs a broom.
And whoops the shit.
And just starts whooping her with the broom. I laughed so hard with this broom fight.
Me too, because it really didn't look like he was hitting her that
right. Yeah. It just looked like he was like kind of patting her a little bit and shit like that. Right.
The sound design tried to do their best.
Yeah, of course. So
because the sound sounded way worse than what it actually looked like.
Wraps her ass up and takes her to the house. Who do we see in the driveway of the house?
Yeah, the
hitchhiker. Yeah. Yep. And they get in, and it's so funny to me because they're like killing these people, getting ready to kill this other person, and he's upset because the door's fucked up. Yeah. Look what you dumb brother did to the front door.
I like that he got out and he whipped the boy up too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, you done made a mess of all this. I gotta clean up all this for you guys and this and that. You and Tommy, what are you doing out here? And he gets into Tommy's ass too. He's like, did you see what you did out there or whatever? And man, there is just all kinds of fucked going ons is what I call it now at this point. And she's like screaming and everything else. And then it kind of blacks out at that point. And who do they bring in? Grandpa.
They bring Grandpa down the stairs.
Yes.
No, but they bring Grandpa down the stairs before she blacks out.
Yes.
Because they bring Grandpa down the stairs.
You're right.
And she's freaking out. And then they cut her finger.
Yes.
And again, like when I watched this, I was just like, did they actually fucking cut that lady's finger? It looks so real. And then they put it in his fucking mouth. And then that's when I found out that he was still alive.
Yes.
He starts like suckling on it.
Yes.
And like, dude,
I was literally like, and I'm like a horror guy.
Yeah.
At this scene again, I was like, whew. Like,
yeah. And then she blacks out.
Yes,
because, and you know what I said out loud?
Yeah.
When I saw this, I said, fair.
Yeah.
Because like, that's fair.
Yeah.
You know?
It's fucked up.
She wakes up in the middle of dinner, starts freaking out. Everybody starts hooting and hollering. And the
dad's like, you a damn bunch of clowns in here hooting and hollering, shut up or whatever, we're having dinner. And then you finally hear a couple flies And I want to point out there'd be a lot more flies in this house than a couple flies. It'd be Nurgle level of flies, bro. Just fucking everywhere. Yeah. Fucking flies everywhere. And there is a lot of goings on and a lot of
this kind of like snowballs.
So let me say that this is the first scene where I'm kind of like, all right, come on.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Because, like, there's a lot of screaming and a lot of, like, looking at this face, looking at that face, back to this face, back to that face.
The hitchhiker's really, like, really going at it, and she just keeps screaming, and at some point you're just like, okay, the next thing needs to happen now.
And here's the thing, dude. You know, she's sitting there screaming her fucking head off. Mm-hmm. They made a nice dinner for her. It's a meal plate.
Sure.
At some point, just shut the fuck up and eat your nice dinner.
I was considering a lot of what I would do in a situation like this, and I don't know if I would be screaming. I'm definitely being shocked, but I don't know if I'd be screaming. I think I'd really try to just be figuring out how can I get the better, the upper hand on these people.
Of course.
Because, she's just screaming.
Yes.
And you kind of want her to do anything but.
Anything but scream, yes. And so they're like, all right, we got to now take her out. She's got to be done.
Yep.
And, I think you're a smart girl. Like, if you're a smart girl at this part, you're like, hey, you guys don't have a woman in the family? I'll be the woman of the family or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Trick these fucking idiots, right? And get the fuck out of there, right? Yeah, exactly. So,
but she's just freaking out.
They're going to do,
they're going to have the grandpa kill her. And the grandpa can't even lift the fucking hammer.
I laughed out loud at this scene. They're just like trying to get him to hold the hammer or whatnot. And as they are doing the hammer thing, she finally gets away from him, smashes through the window, which is very weird because it's like daytime here, and it was like just like middle of the night.
Yeah, I feel like they just like had all that shit covered.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So the hitchhiker goes chasing after her. Leatherface goes chasing after her. Yeah. I like that Leatherface is done up too, because it was a nice Sunday dinner and everything It's done up really nice. The hitchhiker eventually does catch up with her, grabs her, but a truck is coming and he gets nailed by the truck.
That dummy gets fucked. I cringed. And not because it was cringy, but because it was like, oh, that was rough to watch.
Yeah, no. And then the truck driver pulls over and he's like, all right, she's like, help me.
And then the chainsaw guy comes
and then he sees fucking Leatherface like, what the fuck? Man, it's I don't know what I would do in that situation either. So
they didn't immediately start driving though. They got out the other side. He grabs a wrench. Leatherface chases him around.
Yep.
He throws a wrench at his head,
hits him right in the head,
falls over, saws himself, or starts to saw himself. And then another car comes out.
Yes.
She jumps on the back of that car, and then they drive off.
And she's screaming into laughter.
Yeah.
And
also the poor truck driver.
Yeah, he just keeps running. He's I'm fucking out of here. You see him run off.
For sure.
And Leatherface kind of just does a dance. And he does his dance into the darkness. And then, movie over.
That's it.
Like, he's just dancing and then black, done, movie. I was just like...
Yeah, we were in and out of that one.
So, we're hitting you, man.
Yeah.
Let's give me some behind the scenes.
Yeah, please.
Because this movie was just rapid fire.
Sure,
so
This
is probably one of our shorter first half of the episodes. I got a lot of behind the scenes.
Give me some behind the scenes.
Leatherface. So, this is based on a true story, as they say, right? Very loosely.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Ed Gein?
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of this is based off of Ed Gein.
Oh, okay.
Like Toby Hooper specifically based it off of like his the shit he did or whatever, digging up graves and like making like furniture out of like flesh and all that type of shit. So yeah, a lot of that is based off of that.
Ed Gein is here, right?
Yes, Wisconsin, another Wisconsin superstar, right? Yeah, absolutely, fucking piece of shit. So
there's just not a lot going on out here, man.
No, we kill people.
You either mini war game or you kill people. It's one of the two.
I hope.
Do you know somebody in Wisconsin? Do they play a mini war game? If not, they're killing people.
If they're not playing a miniature war game, watch your back.
Yeah.
So, and the rest of this movie was completely made up, of course. Although I'm sure there are some families in Texas. This movie was straight up banned in plenty of countries.
Really?
Yes. Canada being one of them.
Yeah.
Canada.
They were just like, I don't know what the fuck you did.
Put it in a theater.
But do not do this
Showed
shit.
it one showing.
Yeah.
People left the theater in the middle of showing and they were like, you're going to be sued for this movie and this and that. They had the cops come in, shut it down, done in Canada.
No way.
Yep.
That is crazy.
I mean, you gotta keep putting your 1974. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. The historical context is important there. But fuck, that's insane, dude. That people were so upset. They were just like, "I am gonna sue you for making me watch."
Absolutely,
this shit, absolutely, not warning me.
Hooper, he cited one of the reasons he made this movie, and a lot of the things in this movie was because of the cultural changes and the political landscape in our country. You had all kinds of things like Watergate and all these like Vietnam War and things like that. These like situations where people were coming out completely lying to you, but telling you this was the true story. And that's where he got the idea of, I'm going to say that this is a true story and shit like that. Cause that's what the news is doing to us. That's what the Vietnam War is doing to us. Sure. And like violence was like up in America, but on the news. So he was just
like, I'm going to get one over on you gullible idiots because you're all gullible idiots.
Yes, pretty much.
That was his mentality.
Yep, pretty much. Yep. Hysterical. And, he was like, I'm fucking sick of how they glorify violence and shit like that in the news, and it was
and they're not even making money off of it.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. So he got the idea for the chainsaw being the weapon. He was buying tools one day, and there was a long line, and he's like, what weapon would I use here to kill this line so I could check out faster?
No way.
And he thought of the chainsaw, which is kind of an impractical weapon if you've ever used a chainsaw before.
I've never.
No. Okay. So filming for this movie, man, they had no fucking money. So they had to like do everything rapid fire as fast as possible to do it. And they couldn't use the equipment that much. So they filmed this movie over the course of like a month and a week. All right. 16-hour days, 7 days a week, 105 plus degree temperature while filming this fucking movie, dude.
That's a gruel.
And they had very little money again, so they didn't have a second Leatherface costume. They were worried because the Leatherface costume was barely made, so they didn't wash it at all.
That's gross,
the actor who played it is just like, it was a disgusting mess by the end and shit, man. Yeah. And so
I wonder if that's why by the end they were adding all those like shit to it. You know,
I'm
like
sure,
because they were just like, we've got to mask the fact that this is
fucking shit. Yeah, exactly. The special effects on this were out of fucking control. Yeah. Just because of how actual real they were.
Yeah.
The chainsaws being used were like de-toothed but still chainsaws, and they were like putting them within like an inch or two of people's faces and shit like that to film it. The hammer that they were using was a real hammer, and it like slipped and like fucked somebody. Like didn't fucking like kill anybody, obviously, but every single person who was an actor or worked like in the main part was in some way injured in this film, either broken finger, when he cuts his leg, they had like a protecting thing, and it like missed and it nicked his leg, so he cut part of his leg. And where he cuts his hand, absolutely actually cut his hand there. Then they like went back, it wasn't as deep, and then they added fake blood to it, but absolutely cut his hand, cut her finger when they were So all the actors in this fucking hated Tobe Hooper afterwards.
Dude,
and it was like
I just sued him.
No well, you were a nobody, right? So like it was different time. So yeah.
Wait, did any of them ever go on to do anything?
I mean, everybody was like in some things after this, but nobody made it big. Like nobody was like a big deal. Like the biggest person from this was Tobe Hooper. So Tobe Hooper is a fucking maniac. He thought this movie was going to be rated PG.
Yeah.
Because he says that none of the actual violence you see. Because technically, it's like slightly cut away. Like when he hammers him in the head, you don't exactly see it. You just see the hammer come down and the dude fall over. When they put him on the spike, you don't actually see it going into her. You just know that, like, so he was like, yeah, this is going to be a PG, right? Yeah. It got a fucking X. And then he had to like cut some of it and shit like that. So we watched like, if I remember correctly, we watched like the director's cut, which is like the straight up full thing. But like he had to cut some of this to get it down to R so they would release it all in the fucking thing. In the theater.
Rated at like NC, whatever was above R.
Like yeah, absolutely. So, fucking silly as shit. This movie, talk about a few other things here real quick. Things that you brought up earlier. This is the first movie to use like a big fucking killer for like a big serial killer, like which became a normal thing because like Jason, Michael Myers, all these like bigger characters. Leatherface was the first like archetype of like a huge dude that was running around killing people and shit. Mm-hmm. When they created this Leatherface and the family in general, like you pointed out, they wanted to have them all be like slightly mentally off. Okay, Leatherface clearly. The actor used to go to special needs schools and stuff like that to see how like disabled children and stuff like that moved around and stuff like that, because they wanted to make like Tommy Hewitt is like his actual name, but his nickname's Leatherface. They wanted to make him like a big baby, sort of like, you know, mentally challenged person and shit like that. And I feel like fucking perfect to me, like what they were shooting for with that character of being like this like mentally handicapped, kind of challenged, being taken advantage of almost sort of dude, I felt was exactly in line with what was actually going on in the film.
being taken advantage of. I didn't see it being taken advantage of.
Okay,
because they were all kind of mentally handicapped.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and they had to eat, so you know they're eating people. So this is considered one of, by many people, one of the greatest, while also most controversial horror movies of all time. And it changed a lot of the landscape for movies that came afterwards. And as you pointed out,
controversial because of how like
violent it was at the time and stuff like that. But many people felt like it paved the way. This was the first horror movie to ever have social commentary, or to like really have deep social commentary on like mental handicap, the progress of the world and stuff like that, and like how that affects these, you know, these people.
He's trying to say something.
Yes, he's trying to say a lot of different things and whatnot. Although there were some hyperbolic reviews I read where one fucking guy said that this was a Greek tragedy and an exquisite work of art, which I feel is a little bit, you know,
hyperbolic I think is the word for that.
Yeah. So Leatherface, definitely a character. He was one of the first characters to be like the like not hero of the film, but like the character of the film, which then they paved the way for like, you know, Freddy Krueger, all these other things and shit. And like people who say that they were inspired by this film, obviously Wes Craven, he made the Will Hills Have Eyes, and of course Nightmare on Elm Street. Alien, though, Ridley Scott's like a lot of this stuff was what allowed me to do Alien, as gritty as it was. Of course, Rob Zombie, because Rob Zombie basically remade this movie with the Devil's Rejects and shit, or not the original one of that. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. Some of the accolades for this film. Okay, Entertainment Weekly, 6th all time of the top 50 cult movies. Okay, Times top 25 of horror in the top 25 of horror. Empire Magazine, 199th out of 500 greatest films of all time. Not like horror films, not anything else. It's, of course, in the Horror Film Hall of Fame. British Film Institute's top 250 of all time. And, yeah, man, it's quite the film. So, would you recommend Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
No, I would not recommend this movie. I liked a lot of this movie. I was surprised by a lot of this movie, how well it was done. It was a welcome surprise, too. When I was watching this movie, especially at the beginning, I was really happy to be watching where a lot of horror started. And this really felt like the progenitor movie for a lot of stuff. I enjoyed that. But I think this movie's depiction of neurodivergent people is, I mean, I'd say generously it's problematic. And I think more realistically, more operatively, more practically, it's just not a movie that you need to see. I think that the main antagonists of this movie, the monsters of this movie, are just, you know, mentally unwell people. And there's nothing where, like, there is a person taking advantage of them. I think that would have colored the movie differently. I think the fact that it was just the bad guys are mentally ill people. And that's it. There's nothing past that. And like, you know, I'd be happy to have the argument on the internet.
So I want to pause for a second. I want to pause for a second there. And I usually don't pause in this portion of the thing. I know, right? Yeah. How is that any different than like? See, because a lot of people would say like something like what is that called? Like pedophilia is a mental disorder. Okay, doesn't that just make Freddy Krueger then a mentally challenged murderer?
Is that what that movie was saying? You know,
I mean, I don't know, but I don't feel like that's what this movie is saying.
I do. That's actually specifically why I wouldn't recommend this, because I feel like it's not saying anything outside of demonizing mentally unwell people. Even to go as far as to have the actors go to mental institutions and live among the, like the neurodivergent people that were there, and to try to mimic their characteristics and their mannerisms so that they can more accurately portray mentally unwell people, and then to have those be the monsters in your movie, I think is at most generous problematic. I don't like that the monsters weren't monsters. They were people that had mental health issues. And that, to me, in 2021, is not a thing you need to indulge anymore, I don't think. I think that this movie, especially when, this wasn't the conversation being held, might have been saying some commentary. The commentary was lost on me. Looking at it through a modern lens, I think that what this is saying about the mentally unwell is ugly. And I didn't enjoy that. And I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend watching a movie where just the bad guys are people that are just, I don't know, unhealthy. And so for that reason, right, apart from its technical prowess and all the things it did right, I think that the commentary is done so poorly that it's just not a movie.
So would you say this was a good movie that you wouldn't recommend, or a bad movie and you wouldn't recommend it then?
No, I think it's a really well done movie, a phenomenally well done movie that I would never watch it. It's like,
I get it.
It's like what we were just talking about with Nightmare Before Elm Street, or I mean, not Nightmare Before Christmas. Or Nightmare Before Christmas is a movie that I really enjoyed. I loved watching it. And then just recently, it was colored in a very racist light. And the director of the movie came out and said, yeah, Tim Burton's a fucking racist. And I don't ever need to watch that movie again. Because it's a well-done movie. I'm not going to take that away from it. It practically, operatively, technically, fucking well-done movie. I just don't need to give it any more of my attention.
Okay.
And that's how I feel about this one. I don't even think that necessarily he was being a mean person. I have no idea what was in his head. I just think that baseline, your bad guys, your monsters, the people you are demonizing.
I think that it's more
the people you are painting to be monsters.
I don't think that they're
mentally unhealthy, and that's their only fault.
You are putting that on more so than Hooper was actually doing.
Sure, yeah, maybe, but I think that he did it irresponsibly, and that's why
it's 1974.
Exactly.
So I think it's.
I'm not even blaming.
Sure,
I'm not even saying he did it maliciously.
Yeah.
He just did it. And I don't need to give that any more attention than it deserves. So that is my official thing.
Okay.
The movie is done well, but go into it understanding, knowing that it's portraying mentally unwell people and very ugly. I didn't like that. It didn't sit well with me. It made me feel uncomfortable.
Interesting.
What do you think, man? Did it hold up to you though?
Before I give you that,
yeah,
I wanted to give you the output of this movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
300,000 in, 31 million out. That is quite the fucking ridiculous turnaround. That's like Blair Witch Project, level turnaround.
Insane.
Man. So
yeah, for sure.
Crazy good. So especially because of how much lower the theater participation rate was back in the 70s and things of that nature. So does this movie hold up? This movie, I would say, is fucking phenomenal. Mm-hmm. It is definitely. I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I totally understand what you're saying. I just don't read it that same way, and that's fine. I don't think it's a problem. I think that you can see those issues or those problematic, statements when it comes to mental illness, and still, in my opinion, enjoy this movie because,
I think that it can be appreciated for what it's doing.
Leatherface as a character isn't actually. These aren't actually mentally handicapped people. Okay,
even you said yourself they went to a mentally handicapped
for their mannerisms and stuff.
They really wanted to really nail on this that they are. People with disorders.
Are they monsters? I don't know, man.
Are you kidding me?
Trying to eat,
this was very similar to when we watched Silence of the Lambs. Where Silence of the Lambs, I think we're saying something very ungenerous about the trans community. Sure. I feel like this
actually. So here's a funny thing that you bring. First of all, that's brought up with this movie too, because there are scenes where Leatherface is wearing women's clothing. Okay,
sure.
So there's people that
didn't
also
catch that.
say
Yeah, for sure.
that Leatherface, they're
Sure.
shitting on the that community in general, with Leatherface. And Leatherface is, if you like see how like the table is set up, they specifically made it so that Leatherface sat in the traditionally women's role of the, and she's like, and he's like, he went even as far as like, they wanted to like mock, one of Toby Hooper's thing was mock the 1970s like family household, and like he's all bourgeoisie, so he's got all his makeup on and stuff like that. So like, yes. So like, I don't know. I see it like a cross between like a trauma film, which I know you have never seen any of that stuff, but definitely in that vein. To me, this is really even better than I remembered it being. There are definitely some slow issues that are 70s movie making things. I felt like this movie could have been even a little bit faster. Like it was an hour and 36 minutes, I think, and it could have probably been an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah,
maybe.
Or so.
Just that one scene where they were extra laughing, but otherwise I thought that this was
I thought some of the scenes where
they're getting chased.
The scenes with the hitchhiker went on. There was a bunch of things in there that I thought could have cut 30 seconds, sort of things like that. Maybe not that many minutes, but probably like 10 minutes throughout the film that could have been cut. Yeah. Overall, though, I hear what you're saying, but I still appreciate this movie as a horror film. Yeah. It just it definitely sets up so many things that then come later, and it's just if you like grit, if you like dirty horror movies, that's where I feel that this one comes in well, because this movie is dirty as fuck and sweaty as fuck. I would say pioneer style sweaty. Mm-hmm. So what I'd suggest next weekend, get yourself a Puritan outfit, grab a witching board, practice some rituals, and join us live as we continue our Halloween special with The Witch.
I'm deeply uncomfortable about this. This is the one that I really didn't want to watch.
Well, you're watching it live.
We're not. You wouldn't want to see me watch this movie live. You'd laugh.
You damn fool! You ruined the door!